R.V. Bubna, the Chairman and Managing Director of Sharda Cropchem, joins us now to talk about the way forward. Mr. Bubna, good morning and congratulations on a very good debut on the stock markets. If you could just tell us about what the forecast is now that the listing is done, you can give us a bit of an indication of how your revenues might grow, what the profits might look like. At the year ended March 2014, you did about close to 800 crores of revenues. What's the way forward looking like?
Mr. Bubna, you can't hear us? Okay, I think this is an audio issue. Well, we'll just come back to Mr. Bubna in a minute while our tech team sets that right. Still up about 60%. That stock, which gives it a post-listing market cap of about 2,250 crores even as of now. So very good listing. It actually started off at a 73% gain. So 271, if I'm not mistaken, was the high the stock touched. A little bit of profit taking has come in, but not a whole lot. A whole lot of institutions obviously wanted to buy the stock and couldn't get their toe in going by the demand for the stock. So clearly there is going to be a lot of support at all levels for the stock. And even in terms of valuations, not very demanding. Exactly.
That's what we were mentioning earlier, that if you compare it to some of their peers like PI Industries, like Rallis, etc., these are companies that trade at 30, 35 times forward. Even after the listing that Sharda Cropchem has had, I don't think it trades more than 20, 21 times or so. So even valuation-wise, it looks quite good. And ever since its operations began, the company has never posted any losses. It's seen EBITDA margins of 20%, return ratios of 30%, so which is quite good compared to many of its listed peers. So we'll do one thing. We'll get back to the management. Mr. Bubna, if my voice is reaching you now, I wanted to wish you good morning. Congratulations on the listing that you've had. Can you just give us a forecast of what the revenues might look like from here on? You did about 800 crores in the year gone by. How is the next year looking?
Madam, the next year is going to be minimum 25 to 30%.
This
minimum 30% more.
This is revenue growth you're talking about, Mr. Bubna?
Revenue growth as well as the margins.
Okay. So where will the
can be even still better than 25%.
Okay.
So what about the? Are you referring to your profit growth being 30%?
Yes, madam.
Okay. Well, what is this money itself going to be used for?
Madam, as you know, these funds are not going to go to the company. Okay. Our IPO has been totally offer for sale.
Okay.
Where our private equity investor is offering their equity, and part of the equity is being offered by the promoters to make up the minimum 25% as required by SEBI.
Okay. Mr. Bubna, can you just tell us, I understand that you don't have any single plant or machinery or a building of your own. So basically, you outsource 100% of your manufacturing. We haven't seen any other agrochemical company, at least in the listed space, do that. And that is a bit of a concern, that some analysts have thrown up. Okay, can you give us your view on that?
Madam, outsourcing of these manufacturing is in fact an advantage to us. Our products are seasonal products, and to run a manufacturing plant in the off season is a very difficult task. It's very painful. And today we are working in an atmosphere where there's always an excess capacity for every product. When there is an excess capacity and surplus of production, manufacturing is not an advantage, but in my opinion, it becomes a part of something like a disadvantage.
No, but the reason I asked is because you don't have any long-term contracts with any of your vendors as well. So everything is on a case-to-case basis. So in that sense, do you think your, your revenues or your margins could be a bit lumpy?
Madam, I want to tell you the manufacturers are working and expanding faster than the demand. And we do not see any situation of shortage in the foreseeable future. So my answer remains the same, that manufacturing is not so much of an advantage. you can see from the figures of the people who are only doing manufacturing compared to the other people who are doing marketing.
Point taken. But I mean, I guess the question is also stemming from the fact that you have about 190 crore of cash, or you had as of March. Can you tell us what's the cash you have now, and what do you plan to do with it?
Madam, we'll use this cash for investing into the registrations.
Okay.
All these agrochemicals that we are dealing in require to be registered in any country that we export to. And this process of registration is a highly capital intensive and time consuming process. So we have been using, like we have spent about 400 crores into the registrations in the last 6 years. And that has given us an advantage to get into the highly protected and highly entry barriered markets in the world. And that's also very rewarding.
Okay. So how many more registrations might you get, say, in the next 12 months?
At minimum 150 to 200 in the next 12 months.
All right. Well, the other, you might say a bit of problem or a bit of concern would be that your traded goods account for a goodish bit, 62% of your total sales. Of course, it is down from 71% year ago, but comparable companies have only about 10% of traded goods. Is that a worry?
It's not a worry at all.
Okay. I'm just reading out of a couple of reports, and I would like your view on this. The company's corporate governance practices are a bit of a concern to some analysts. I'll tell you why. I understand that the company has over 1,040 registrations for agrochemical formulations and 155 active ingredients in overseas markets. But most of these are held by the promoter-controlled group companies, which include names like Sharfil Inc., etc. This is a bit of a corporate governance issue that some analysts believe. What would your view be on this?
Madam, this is not true. Sharfil is a promoter control company, but they have not more than 2 or 3 registrations. All the registrations are held by our subsidiaries, which are owned by Sharda Cropchem Limited. So this concern is purely imaginary.
Okay. You spoke about...
This doesn't exist.
Okay. You spoke about a 30% growth in revenues for the current year. What might it be for next year?
Madam, next year is difficult to predict at this stage, but you can see from our past track record, we have grown at the rate of 25 to 30% in the last 5 years, and we hope to continue at the same rate in the next 3-4 years. Okay,
if only 2 or 3 registrations are held by Sharfil, are all the remaining 1,200, the 1,200 registrations you spoke about in your name, in Sharda Cropchem?
They are in the name of the subsidiaries which are owned by Sharda Cropchem.
100% subsidiaries?
100% subsidiaries.
Okay. And the coming 150 that you're talking about will also be in Sharda Cropchem's 100% subsidiaries?
Yeah, you see, as per the requirements of various governments, we have to have a company registered in those countries where we take the registrations.
Okay.
And that is the necessity to form these subsidiary companies. Because these are the companies which can hold the registration on behalf of the Indian company.
Is it true that the company
the coming 150 to 200 registrations will also continue to be in the name of subsidiaries, 100% owned by Sharda Cropchem.
Okay. Is it true that the company has issued some intercorporate deposits to its group company Axis Crop Science at lower than market rates, and there have also been instances where related party transactions have not been carried out at arm's length?
Madam, this is not true. The related party transactions have been absolutely at the arm's length. The subsidiary Axis Crop Sciences was given loans when we were a private limited company, and we had an agreement with them to continue the interest rates for at least 6 months. The interest rates have been brought to the market level from 1st April 2014.
All right. Thank you so much for all these clarifications. It's our job to ask you all these questions, but all the best for the future to come and that 30% growth that you have been alluding to.